Hey, middle school, happy Monday. Mr. Manny here, just wanting to give you guys a little encouragement to start the week off. Some of you guys know that 2 months ago I ran my first 100-kilometer race, and I put on a ton of hours of practice, and I learned a ton. And you're not running a 100K race anytime soon, maybe in the future, but maybe it feels like during this time at home and during this time of e-learning, it seems like you are running an ultra race with no end in sight. And maybe there are times where you want to give up and you're tired and you're exhausted and you can't stand your parents nagging at you, your siblings are on your nerves. But hopefully, you will be encouraged by today's mini encouragement because there are things that I learned during my 100K race that I think are transferable to our situation today to make us not only survivors but thrivers during this time. So, 4 tips that I'm going to give you, 4 short tips. Hang on with me, it's going to take about 5 minutes. So number 1, what kind of structure do you have in place? When I was training for this race, the first thing I did 6 months prior to the race, I found a plan online, and this plan had short, medium, and long runs. It had and I had to follow it to know that I could complete the distance and be ready physically and mentally for the race. During the race, I had a race strategy. I knew that I had to eat and drink throughout the race. First 45 minutes, I had to start eating right away, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the next point. But I knew that I would be walking up the inclines and I'd be running everything else, and I need to have a plan, a structure in place. And my question to you is, what structure, what plan have you put in place during this time? During this time, for myself, I found that what helps is I go run in the morning, I come back, help my kids with their own seesaw and e-learning, and then I go to school and I get my work done. I come back, bike and rollerblade around the neighborhood, have dinner, relax, and go to bed. And so I have this structure in place. What is your structure? I'm not talking about eating and sleeping and homework and gaming. I'm talking about things that are important in your life that need to be in place so that you don't fail. What time do you go to sleep? If you go to sleep later, then you're going to wake up later and your brain might not be as focused as it needs to be. How much are you on your phone? Put down your phone, because you know that that might not be a good source of refreshment. Some of you need to maybe schedule some God time to draw rest and strength from Him. And I encourage you guys earlier that some of us need to know that in our current climate of unknown, we need to know that God is in control, and we need to rest in that. And just be reminded of that. Number 1, what is your structure? Number 2, it's a marathon and not a sprint. This time of COVID quarantine, I knew that it was not a sprint. I knew it wasn't, I couldn't go as fast as if I was running and sprinting around the soccer field. My focus was on each kilometer. I took bite-sized chunks. So I knew that I would do 100 kilometers, 1 kilometer 100 times, rather than one big 100-kilometer race, even though it ended up as that much. So I knew that I could get to each kilometer, and when it really got tough, I was focused on each 10 steps or 20 steps or each step, and I knew that I had to focus on the present and think about each little step. And so maybe some of you guys are thinking, man, when will the end come? When will I be able to see my friends again? When will I be able to go sit down and eat at my favorite restaurant? Well, to thrive during this time, you need to pace yourself. Rather than thinking about, oh, when will things be over? Think about the present and right now. Um, you know that you will just burn out if you just game all the time. Make use of the time. Rest in God's mercies. It says in the Bible that His mercies are new every morning and that His grace is sufficient. What does that mean? It means that every single morning, God has strength for you to accomplish what He has called you to do. Uh, and so, um, and so rest in that. And um, for today. And so, first is what is your structure. Second is it's not not a sprint, but a marathon. Number three, what are you putting in yourself? Besides the physical aspect of the race, it was important to make sure that I was eating enough. Here's some bunk breakers. I would eat bananas. I would eat yams. I'd eat these granola thingies. I would eat gels, and I was drinking enough water. Every kilometer, I would drink water or electrolytes. I was eating enough salt tablets. Here we go. These are electrolyte tablets. I would eat one an hour, so I ate 14 of them. I knew that I had to do this. I had to put enough nutrition in my body, otherwise I would bonk. My body would be in depletion and it would not want to go any further. So what are you putting in your body today? What is your nutrition plan? What's at your aid station? What have you been filling yourself with lately? I've been in the place where I've eaten an entire bag of Doritos, and it's good at the moment, but by the end, that last little crumb I put in my mouth, normally I don't feel so hot, and normally I don't feel so good because I just put like cheese and Doritos, even though that sounds really good, into my body, and my body is like, ugh, that's not so good for you. With e-learning, you have to recharge yourself and put good stuff in your body. Um, for me, it's running, talking with a good friend, listening to some good music, hanging out with my family. Those are times of recharging, and the best recharge for me, the best Gatorade, the best stuff that I could put in my body is spending time with God. And I hope that's true with you. In these strange times, I found myself needing to step back, away from everything, go for a walk, listening to His Word, and just spending time with Him. Lastly, who's on your support team? When running a race, I knew I would see my wife and family at the halfway point, at the 50K point. And that was going on in my mind for the entire race. Man, I'm going to see my family. I'm going to see my family. And it actually got a little bit depressing, thinking like, oh man, what if they are not there? And I'm looking forward to seeing them and they actually aren't there. But coming into the 50K point, they were cheering, they were yelling, they had this daddy chant going. They gave me this like big ice sponge bath. They were encouraging me. They gave Noah had this fried rice for me, and it was just awesome. And I knew that I would see them in the end as well, and they would be cheering for me in the end. And that brought such encouragement to me during the race to look forward to seeing them and knowing that they were there for me. So who's on your support team? We are rooting for you during this time. And I hope you know that your teachers are rooting for you during this strange time. But though we wish we could see you face to face, who's on your support team? Who's in your front row? Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your friends. Who do you need to be a support to? Maybe there are people in your life that you need to reach out to text, just chat with and encourage them. I know that in the Bible that it talks about another support, and it's those who have run the race before us throughout history, and they found their strength in God, and they found that God was a source of joy and the one that has been walking with them in each step. And maybe that's true for you today as well. But who's on your support team? Um, I hope that these 4 tips help you survive and thrive during this time of e-learning and strangeness. And hopefully, um, uh, it'll be, yeah, you could be encouraged by just being able to persevere and find that extra sense of grit and find your sense of joy in God as well. So, yeah, that's it. Hope you're encouraged. Take care.